Hello, it's Toaster Party, and today I'm going to talk about what my picks are for the 5 strongest CEDH commanders from Dominaria United. So this set had a lot of really interesting commanders that fulfill a lot of underexplored niches in CEDH. But without further ado, let's get into one of those with number 5, Maria, Scholar of Antiquity. So this card is likely a stacks commander in the same vein as Galazeth Prismari and Urza. What this card does is that you can tap a non-token artifact you control to add green. You can also tap 2 untapped non-token artifacts you control to exile the top card of your library, and you may play that card this turn. What makes this card really interesting is that the fact that the ability is on Maria herself. So that means you can also play incredibly powerful stacks pieces like Collector Oof and Null Rod, and it not really affect you, because you can use them to either make mana or to essentially draw you cards. Another interesting fact is that this card can be used to crack Goblin Recruiter piles. So, you cast your Goblin Recruiter, tap 2 untapped non-token artifacts, and then start the combo. This is probably the best stacks commander that Gruul has ever gotten, with all of these effects stapled together. But let's move on to another underrepresented color pair in CEDH, Orzhov with Elis Il-Kor, Sadistic Pilgrim. This is one of the few good Orzhov commanders that CEDH has ever gotten, because it solves one of the biggest issues that Orzhov's premier combo has had, that being finding an outlet for Leon and Relic Warder combo. The way that combo works is that you cast Animate Dead, targeting Leon and Relic Warder, and then Relic Warder targets Animate Dead, which then sacks the Relic Warder, puts the Animate Dead back into play, which creates a sack loop. The biggest issue is that you always had to draw into your damage outlets like Blood Artist or Zulaport Cutthroat. But this one, it's just sitting there in the zone, and it's just as mana cheap as those cards are. Another thing that makes this card really appealing is that there are also a ton of other infinite sack combos in those colors, but this is the first time that there's been a commander to be able to win with them. Let's move on to another underlooked color pairing with Azorius with Wrath Weatherlight Stalwart. This is a 1/3 human wizard for 2 that says when you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you may tap 2 untapped creatures you control, and if you do, draw a card. It also says you can pay 3 generic and 2 white to give creatures you control +1/+1 in vigilance until end of turn. This is a very compact ISO-Rev combo commander, because as long as you have 2 untapped creatures and ISO-Rev going on, you're able to draw through your entire deck. Another really interesting part about this card is actually that pump effect, because if you do have the Isochron Scepter Dramatic Reversal combo online, you also have a sort of outlet with that as well, because you can then pump up your field to get an infinitely large set of creatures to be able to win with that. That would require some sort of weird deck building thing where you had the ability to make those creatures gain haste, but if you're drawing through your entire deck, there's probably some card that doesn't feel bad to be able to play an Azorius that would allow you to do that. But let's move on now to number 2, Jensen Carthalion Druid Exile. There's a lot of text on this card, but almost none of it matters. The important part about this card is that it is a 2-mana, 5-color commander. And I don't think that almost anything else on this card is going to come up. What it does say is that if you cast a multicolored spell, scry 1, and if that spell was all colors, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying and vigilance. And you can pay generic 5 to tap it to add Wooburg. What I really see this card being used for is to be used with the companion Lurrus to essentially be a 5-color version of the Baby Blue Farm deck that was running the 2 Stranger Things commanders to be able to essentially play 4-color breach combos and various other 5-color stuff, but also having Lurrus as the companion. This essentially is fulfilling that niche of being able to do that, but instead of just being stuck in 4 colors, you can now do it with 5 colors. And another really powerful benefit of having this is that if you have a 2-mana commander, you can then use all of the free spells that are available in CEDH because of Core 20, such as Fierce Guardianship and Deflecting Squad. So, really powerful things you can do that are adjacent to this commander, almost none of it which has to do with the commander itself. There might be something there with cost reducers and using it as a mana dork, but it's probably paled in comparison to being able to do 5-color lure stuff. But let's move on now to number 1, Bohar Vodalian Desecrator. Ooh, look, another Isochron Scepter Dramatic Reversal commander. What makes this one sit in the number 1 spot, though, isn't actually the Isochron Scepter stuff, but that definitely helps. Because there is one downside to trying to use this as an Isorev commander. That being that it does have to sit on the field for a turn before you can do the loop where you are able to draw through your entire deck. While that effect is still pretty okay, what makes this one sit above the other Isorev commanders is the last effect on it. That being the ability to sacrifice it to allow you to cast a instant or sorcery from your graveyard this turn. And if that spell would be put to the graveyard, exile it instead. So what makes this card the most appealing CEDH commander from this set is that it is both a decent Isorev commander, and it also allows you to be able to buy back really powerful instants or sorceries from your yard if you had been stifled in a win attempt with Adnaz or Peer into the Abyss. You just sack your Bohar to be able to grab one of those spells and try doing it all over again. And it's in the 2 best colors in CEDH, so that definitely helps. But that's all I had to say. Thank you all for watching. I hope you leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope you all have an excellent day.